Its Own Brew, coming at you with a beer review. Sometimes beer just falls in your lap, and in my case this time, my brother-in-law decided he got a beer that didn't quite fit his fancy. He does like red ales, but this one was an India Red Ale. So he's not a big IPA guy. It is Dawn of the Red. It's an IRA. Now some people call them Red India Pale Ales or just IRAs, India Red Ale. However you go, that's what it is. It's 7% ABV, which is bordering on that Imperial. Love that. And it's 75 IBUs. So, you know, I love that. This is from Ninkasi Brewing out of Eugene, Oregon, about a 3-mile drive from my house. And they make some interesting beers. Most of their stuff anymore, they do bottle and they distribute throughout the Northwest, up into Canada as well. But a lot of their stuff's on tap through restaurants all throughout the area. So let's get this cracked open and give it a try. So this is actually a seasonal beer. It is distributed January through April. So this is on the late edge because it is now August 2nd. So it's not going to be the freshest in terms of IPAs, or red IPAs, so to speak. But it's beautiful clear. It's like an amber with a light red hue to it. There's some bubbles coming up the side on there. But that's a pretty beer right there for sure. The head is something lacking though. There's not really much going on there. We've got a little ring left at this point is all. Let's get the nose. Wow, you know, the first impression I got was sweetness. There's some real sweet, a light like caramel side of the scope. And it's a sweetness. You get some of the Cara-Red kind of scent coming through. And then I get some like fruity sweetness coming on. Wow, part of it really struck me almost as like a candy sweetness. It's interesting. I definitely got some stone fruit on there, a little bit of a peach. And then, I don't know, there was like a light honey going on it. Maybe a hint of citrus. But at this advanced stage, it's not quite as floral as it might otherwise be. There's some tropical notes. I'd say there's a bit of mango. It's almost like a candy mango, which is interesting. And I get a light tea type flavor on it and maybe a hint of pineapple. So it's somewhat tropical. Let's go ahead and get a taste. Cheers. That's nice. That's nice. You know, one of the things I've noted about Ninkasi over the years, at the beginning, some of their beers were pretty bold tasting. But that goes back some years, and now they're not always quite as bold tasting as some of the things out there. This actually probably was amazing fresh, would be my guess, because the caramel that they put in, along with that Cara-Red, is really nice. It brings a nice sweet base to the taste of it, you know, that base malt. And there's quite a bit of hops in here going on for a beer that's been out for a little while. It's a really interesting beer. I definitely get those tropical fruit flavors going on. A bit of mango, maybe a hint of pineapple, but there's this interesting sweetness. It honestly almost makes me think of a light, like a watermelon or a watermelon candy kind of flavor going on, which is throws me off a little bit. And I think part of it has to do with that Cara-Red flavor. It's the red aspect in there. You get hints of the stone fruit, some peach coming through. You get hints of the citrus, although it's much lighter than I might expect it to be. Interesting facts on this one. It's made with 2-row Cara-Red, Crystal, and Flaked barley. And the hops on it are Galena, Millenium, Ahtanum, and Dorado, and Mosaic. So there's a lot of hops going on. Yeah, the Flaked barley just gives it a little bit smoother edge, which is really nice, makes it really drinkable. And one thing that Ninkasi does often is they try to make beers that go well with food because they have a huge primary market of going into restaurants. I'm getting a really sweet front side, and then you go back to a light bitterness on the back side. But I get a lot of the tea leaves. I almost want to just say leaves in general. It's like, to me at this point, almost has a light fall flavor going on. There's just a little bit of spicy kick to it, which is fun. And just a little bit of a honey type flavor. The body is on the light side of medium. The carbonation is moderate. And there's just the slightest creamy edge. So I'm going to take a little time with this and I'll come back with some numbers. Well, I took a pretty sizable break and I'm back. You know, this is a really enjoyable beer. It's a really easy drinking beer. It's got a little nice kick from the hops going on. It's got some good sweetness on the front and bitterness on the back, as I said earlier. So it's super drinkable. It really falls right into that Ninkasi Brewing lineup. You know, something that would be really good seasonally to put in at a restaurant, that would go really well with food and be pleasurable. Now, does that give it the kick to be a high scoring beer? No. Is it a low scoring beer? No, absolutely not. It's a really nice beer, but not something that I can score, like, you know, in that excellent or world-class category, that's for sure. So in terms of style, in terms of an IRA, there's some really nice IRAs out there. This isn't a bad one at that. I think in terms of IRAs, it's a really nice India Red Ale. I'm going to give it, in that sense, I'm going to give it an 88. I might give it a higher score where I had to have it fresh, possibly, so I'll be honest there. In terms of overall, though, I have to go down a bit. It's okay. It's kind of average. And on my overall score, I'm going to give it an 84. Here it is again. Probably this one, you know, I wouldn't jump off and get it now because this is getting on the old edge. Let someone else pick it off the shelves. If they bring this around again in 2017, I'd say grab it fresh in that January to April time frame. Boy, the nice hops on this probably be quite good, but pick it up when it's fresh seasonally. This is Kevin at Clement's Homebrew saying life's too short to drink cheap beer, and I'll see you on the next beer review. Right over the top, of course.